Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to have an exciting talk tonight by Joni. She is the president and the chief formulator for Puremedy. If anyone has a problem with their audio or video, please just hit refresh on your browser. It's usually an internet issue, and that should clear it up. And also, down at the bottom of your screen, if you bring your mouse down, there's a question and answer panel. And if you do have any questions, please type them in, and Joni she loves answering questions. So just keep them coming, and I'll keep feeding them to Joni, and we'll get all your questions answered. What I'd like to do a little off script is just thank you, Joni, one, for being here, but two, for formulating, testing, and putting out the high quality products you do. I've had more people, from little kids right through senior citizens, that when they came in, they had no idea what to do, whether it just be a skin irritation, if it wound up being, you've taught me that if someone has the beginning of an ulcer or even a deep ulcer, that your ointment, the Puremedy original, you just fill it up, pack it in gently, and it works. If I'm drawing splinters out in kids, instead of going with a needle of tweezers, kids love Band-Aids. Your Black Salve is excellent on that. And just healing the skin, not suppressing the symptom, but really working at helping the body heal. And it's just, every time one of these cases come in, it just amazes me. I've seen it over and over again. But I can't believe this goop can really work. And the other thing is, I believed you and it worked, but you've spent a lot of time and probably a lot of money doing the research and the double-blind studies to prove why and that it does work. Not just we can see it work, but as it's been in the paper with COVID, follow the science. And now I think you have all the science. We just have to get mainstream medicine to start following the science like they're preaching.
That's
all right. So let me just make sure. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now. And okay. Once you do, I'm going to mute myself, and it'll be all.
Do pop in, because I'm going to be sharing my screen, so I won't be able to see if someone raises their hand.
No problem. I will jump back and forth. You have to expand that to the full screen, the upper right-hand corner, there we are.
Okay.
It's all yours.
Great, Gary, thank you so much for having me today. I've really loved the partnership that Puremedy and Johnson's Compounding have developed over the years. The first time I came out 9 or 10 or 11 years ago, I think it was on my birthday and in the middle of the summer. And I was so impressed by your staff, your level of knowledge, the level of passion that everyone brings. So, I'm really happy that here we are more than a decade later, continuing to partner. And I know I'm so weird, but I do get really passionate about this product. I do want to just say, everyone, thank you so much for joining. And I think you'll see here pretty quickly why I get so passionate about this. It's weird, but I do. This medicine, Puremedy, that name actually just sort of came to me when I was visioning for all of this about 16 years ago. I started my company, in my kitchen, making one batch of salve at a time. And now our company is really, we're sold in thousands and thousands of stores, and we're, kind of going more mainstream, and it's really starting to explode. I think that the time is really right for Puremedy. And here's why. This medicine, which is the original healing ointment here, I think I have some right here, actually. This has actually been in my family for, oh my gosh, my puppy's been chewing on that. How funny. He loves it as much as I do. This medicine was formulated for my great-great-grandfather about 160 years ago in the mountains of Quebec by an indigenous medicine man. So it saved my great-grandfather's life from this really gnarly infected burn on his leg. And, you know, if you think about it, back in the day, the doctor said, well, we can try to saw off his leg at his hip to try to save his life, but, you know, he's not going to survive that. So instead, they took him to this medicine man in the community who went up into these forests right here. And these conifer trees, the pine and the fir and the elderberry extracts combined with herbs are what healed his infection and gangrene and burn and truly saved his life. But the reason that I'm so passionate about it is that I don't know. I just, you know, as a kid, I always, like, I started riding horses when I was like 2 years old. I just loved being outside. I grew up in Seattle. I was always very connected to the indigenous mythology up there. And I heard my mom told me the story that this actually saved her life about 5 years before I was even born. And right then, I absolutely knew that I was going to devote my life to making sure that everyone who needs this medicine can get it. And that's what I've done. I've prepared my whole life to start my business. You know, our whole secret is tree resins, the pine, the fir, and the elderberry. It's this triad really of tree resins. That pine is very active against gram-negative bacteria. Fir is very active against gram-positive bacteria. And elderberry, as we all probably know, could have some interesting antiviral properties. So, you know, we have to obviously tread very lightly on claims that we make. And there are some really interesting claims that Puremedy can make because of the science that we've done. So I'm going to stick in that lane. If you think about it, you guys, think about this. So before COVID hit, I was working with the FDA for about 6 years because we were all worried about superbugs and MRSA before COVID hit. And that kind of took our attention off in a different direction. But if you think about it just in common sense, like, this is actually one of our ingredients, and that is sticky tree resin. So if you put bacteria in the presence of this sticky tree resin, it's very much like an insect getting stuck in a spider web. It cannot breathe and it cannot consume water. So whether it's gram positive or gram negative, it's going to just become unviable. We have a kill rate of about 90% in the first 1 minute. So this I'm very proud of. This is my antibacterial. It's called a time kill study. This is as scientific as we're going to get today. But check this out. This is Staphylococcus, MRSA. This is all in a petri dish, so we call it in vitro. Streptococcus, E. coli, Salmonella, and the gray bar is the percentage killed in just the first 1 minute. And the red bar is the percentage killed in 5 minutes. So this is a very broad spectrum of a lot of very different types of bacteria. We did a circulation study. This original healing ointment is the only product in the world that is clinically proven to increase blood circulation topically. That is a huge benefit. And we did a type 2 diabetic trial. We had a patient population of 16 people, and we bought this very expensive blood oxygen monitor. And so it was a pretty simple study, really. And the protocol was approved by the review board, independent review board. And basically it showed in about 5 seconds after applying the salve that this oxygen number started going up, which means circulation. So that means that the salve is increasing circulation, sometimes in as fast as 5 seconds. What is key to healing skin and tissue? blood. Blood is the great healer. So, you don't have to go into a hyperbaric chamber. You don't have to breathe through an oxygen tank. You can just put this on and it will get the body's own natural blood and oxygen circulating. So the third really interesting property, so it, manages bacteria, it brings fresh blood, and it also draws out everything that is not supposed to be in that skin and tissue. This is a silly example, but I had an embedded splinter. I put that much salve on a Band-Aid at night, and I put that over that splinter. In the morning when I peeled off that Band-Aid, I was like looking for the splinter, and it had already been deposited onto the Band-Aid. So it will draw out cysts, bee stings, insect bites, ticks, all sorts of things, pieces of glass. And I do have an extra drawing black salve that is for, things that are really stuck in there. I also love to use my black salve as a face mask, to draw out anything that's clogging skin pores. So because of all these, these properties, the big takeaway is that we, a long time ago, started calling this salve Windex, like from my big fat Greek wedding, because you can absolutely use it for anything. Models use it under their eyes before a photo shoot. It's really good for anti-inflammatory. Detox, blackheads, road rash, burns, wounds, even like any kind of wound, even stasis ulcers and diabetic foot sores. It's sort of one-stop shop. The
Joni,
interest,
before you go on, one question I think fits in there. Is this safe to use for my toddlers? We're outside a lot now and they're getting a lot of scratches on their legs and, elbows. And can this be used on little kids?
It can. That's a great question. It can be used from newborns all the way up to our eldest. The only thing to do for anybody before you use it is, sometimes people might have a topical allergy to pine resin or another tree resin, and they might not know it. So what I like to do before I use it with anyone is just take a little bit and just, rub it on the inside of your wrist and just give it an hour or two and just make sure you don't get little red itchy bumps. If you don't, you're golden. And it's very rare that you're gonna have a reaction to it. But you guys, my mom used to make us eat it for strep throat. I mean, we were like, no, no, no. But you take a big glob like that, you put it on the end of your tongue and you just swallow. And I actually needed to swallow to clear out a little scratchy throat. I had surgery the other day and the breathing tube is still creating a little scratchiness. This is why I'm so maniacal, Gary, is that the right word, about the quality of my ingredients, because this is safe for every part of the body. My mom used to say you can bathe in it. And I have started to do some interesting work with this internally, with this very same salve. So, you can put it in your kids' ears if they get ear infections. It just kind of, we lovingly say it just sort of goes in every orifice for different things. You can put it in your nose and your mouth, it's really good for hemorrhoids. So, but every ingredient has to be not only food grade, but the highest quality of food grade ingredients that I can find. That's kind of it. That's a real overview of the science. Are there any questions about any of that? Went over that a little quickly.
Nope, I think people grasp that. You did a good job presenting. Thank you.
So you guys, what I started to do is I started to have people say, well, how is this for nail fungus? And I would say, it's actually not so great for nail fungus. That was the first one that I formulated in 2006. And so here is in the orange one here in the middle, that's our fungus relief. So I started to research and put on my biology and chemistry hat that I really loved in college. I was pre-vet for 2 years in college and I loved biology and chemistry. So that's kind of what I tap into when I'm formulating. And so I drew from that love of science and I added ingredients to this original healing salve that showed very promising antifungal properties like oregano oil, neem oil, tea tree oil, and a fourth kind of a tree, which is cedar, thuja. So like the shingles product here, I actually added a fifth tree ingredient. So, you know, we're all about tree medicine here at Puremedy, and it really is my particularly odd passion, but that's my thing is trees. The ingredient that's so cool about the shingles and the wart relief and the cold sore is that hopefully some of you have heard of this ingredient too, but it's called dragon's blood. And it's from the Amazon. It's sustainably harvested in the Amazon. And it's this red, sticky tree resin that medicine people have been using for thousands of years as an antiviral. So I've, you know, using that tree resin in several of my products as well. So this is just a sampling, a nice eucalyptus chest rub that I've formulated. The eczema and psoriasis ointment. Gary, can I talk about this for just a minute?
Absolutely. You can
Okay,
talk about whatever you'd like.
so these two are our top sellers. It's so funny. And since 2006, they've both been neck and neck, you know, when I run sales numbers. Here's the thing. Somebody called this morning and they said, and I get this all the time, and I'm going to do a video podcast about this next week. They said, your eczema salve works really well for the first 2 days, but then it doesn't seem to work for days 3 and 4. Here's why. Guess how much of our daily cellular waste is supposed to be expelled through our skin pores, not our liver and our colon and our kidneys? What percentage do you think, Gary?
I'll say 10%.
70%. 70% of our daily cellular waste is designed to go through our skin pores, under our arms, on our face, on the bottom of our feet, you know, where we really need to shower in the morning, right? Well, 99% of the time, the culprit is dairy. And so if you start to use the salve, it's going to draw out whatever is desperately trying to be released through the skin pores. So it's going to work for the first couple days. But if you continue to poison your body with dairy, I'm sorry, I'm really beginning to talk about dairy in terms of poisoning the body, because it is very, very hard for the body to digest. And I don't know why, but something has changed with dairy. I haven't been able to eat dairy or drink it for 9 or 10 years. I don't know what it is, but I think that we're going to find out what it is at some point, because when people get off of dairy, their gut inflammation heals, their skin heals. So if this is toxic to me, if this water is toxic and I'm using the salve, oh, and it's healing it up, but I continue to drink that toxic water, it still has to come out through my skin pores, right? And so it's just going to be like creating the same problem over again. So you've got to get to the root of the problem. And here's the rub. If we ask ourselves, just to get quiet and just ask ourselves, okay, Joni, what am I eating or drinking that I know I shouldn't be eating or drinking? And the first thing that comes to mind is the thing to cut out. And if you do that, then, you know, we see it time and time and time and time again. It's actually flawless when you remove that thing that the body is having a hard time processing, and you keep using that Puremedy salve a week to 10 days, and it's absolutely gone. So that's what we see time and time again. So that's why I wanted to take a minute to talk about the process of healing the body and not just putting a Band-Aid over a symptom. But, you know, and then you think about, Gary, all of the benefits, right, of decreased gut inflammation. It's like more energy, less brain fog, more clarity, higher level of thinking, and, you know, I mean, everything.
Even better sleep. And
Better sleep.
everything really begins and ends in the digestive system. You have to be able to
Yeah,
get good food in, break it down, absorb the nutrients. You need to get a good night's sleep, get into REM sleep, let the liver do its detoxing. It dumps
that's
it through
right.
the bile into the gut, and then it goes out. And if
Yeah,
that isn't working, you're never going to get better. But Mother Nature is so nice. Our skin is a safety valve. So if things
yeah,
aren't going out the way they're supposed to, it comes out through the skin. So for almost everyone, unless it was a contact dermatitis, if you have a skin
yeah,
issue, you have to look at the gut.
yeah.
Um, on skin issues, I have a question. I don't consider myself getting older, but I am, and I'm starting to develop some brown spots. And someone told me they were liver spots.
Mm,
And um, I explained to them that, yes, they are liver spots when they look like the color of the liver, but it's because you're not detoxifying the way you're supposed to. And you had given me a couple of hints to give people about what to do besides eating healthier and getting the gut working, but to help with the brown spots.
yeah. Well, this is a great question. And, I've always been a tomboy. Again, I've been riding horses since I was 2 years old. I never wanted to think of Puremedy as a beauty company, but as I also began to approach, I'm 55 now, and I've been in menopause for 10 years. So all of a sudden, I was like, oh, this is really bothering me, much more than I thought it was going to. I thought I was going to age gracefully and, not care about any of it. And when I started to see some brown spots, I was like, oh, I care. I do. So I thought about this a lot, and it was one of my best friends 10, 15 years ago was a supermodel down here. And she said, Joni, if this salve is increasing circulation, why don't you make face creams? And I was like, okay. So I have developed the intensive skin repair. There is a night balm and a day cream. And so my beauty products are only to treat skin. I don't have any expensive beauty oils or anything. My beauty stuff is very functional. You're drawing out the pores so that your skin can breathe and get fresh blood to it. And that has been the key for my brown spots that are gone. In fact, I've added, organic jojoba oil, organic argan oils, sweet almond oil, a lot of really very nourishing oils. But it's funny because I hadn't seen my dad. I started using this product and I hadn't, what I formulated 10 years ago, and I hadn't seen my dad because he lives in another state. And so I went to visit him and he looked at me and he looked at my skin and he grabbed my arm. And my dad is a real pacifist. And he's, I live in Los Angeles with, where the land of, Botox. And he said, have you had work done? He was really mad at me. And I said, Dad, I swear to God, I'm using the salve on my face.
It's
And
all pure remedy.
it really is. It's pretty simple. If you think about cleaning out your pores, getting fresh blood to the area, look, everything we need is already in our blood: collagen, vitamins, enzymes, everything that we pay a lot of money for. So let's just get more of that good stuff, keep that circulation flowing, and keep those pores open. And that's what I've been doing. So we do have really nice products for rosacea and acne. And then the intensive skin repair is just for healthy, good, plump, breathing skin, which, let's face it, like you said, Gary, it's really important to the functioning of our GI. It's the two are just hand in hand. So we've just got to keep releasing toxins so that they don't have to go back and be processed through our liver and kidneys and colon. It's all. And then you think about it, Gary, all the wonderful supplements that we are taking can be so much, they can be put to better use. They can be better absorbed because there's not so many toxins that are having to go through the liver and the kidneys. I mean, everything just runs more smoothly, like
Yeah,
clockwork.
yeah, it does. And those nutrients are cofactors in hundreds of metabolic pathways in the cells. And if the antioxidants are being used to fight all the free radicals that junk food is generating in our system, they can't go to where they need to. So as you started with energy going down, mental capacity going down, sleep
Yeah.
going down. So
Yeah.
just we put the right fuel in our cars, it's even more important to put the right fuel in our body. One other question just popped up, and then I'll let you get back to where you were. I'm a runner, and every once in a while, my sock is bunched up a little, or I get a blister. When the blister pops for days, that skin is really tender and raw.
Yeah.
Will this help that?
For sure. Salve and a Band-Aid 3 times a day, to the point where that, like back to that Windex thing with my big fat Greek wedding, my answer for almost anything in life now is salve and a Band-Aid 3 times a day. But what I want to say, what I really want to recommend is to use the Puremedy as a preventative before you go out for your run. I actually have a baby salve that is really good. This one. That's what runners and bicyclists use. It's just a very mild version of the original healing salve. And you can use it, like between your legs to prevent chafing, and you can put it on your feet to prevent blisters. You don't want to use that much of it, and you don't have to use that much of it, but definitely take little trial sizes along in your backpack for your run, so that if you feel that that's starting to happen, that you can address it in the beginning. But yes, you can absolutely treat blisters afterwards.
Thank you.
Yeah. We had a nice feature, Gary. I don't know if I told you about this in New York Magazine's The Strategist last summer. All of a sudden, we, walked in on a Monday morning to something like $20,000 in internet orders. And we're like, what is going on? This woman found out about our baby salve, and she used it for mosquito bites. And she wrote this huge article about it. So if you guys want to Google strategist and Puremedy, this great article will come up about how, in fact, I think I can just pull it up right here, about how this baby balm is the only thing that soothes my itchy, inflamed mosquito bites. It was just great. And she favorably compared us, which I would never do, but she favorably compared us to Neosporin and Aquaphor because of our purity of ingredients and how well it works. So, I just love that we're starting to sort of get accolades out there in the world. It's really fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I wish my mom were still around to see all the success sometimes,
I think she sees it.
I think so too. I think so too. Are we at about, we're at about the time.
Yeah, we're running down. One other question. The person sort of got a little bit too in depth, so I'll try to narrow it down a little bit.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure who's on here. What can be done? Do you have any? Oh, you just brought it up. That's where my question.
No way.
Yep.
You're
what
kidding.
can be done about feminine dryness? Because in that delicate tissue, I don't want to be putting chemicals just to moisten.
I have no problem talking about vaginal dryness. So I will do all the talking here, and we don't have to, reveal anything other than that for your customer. I have come to believe that every woman over 40 should use this feminine moisturizer internally and topically every day. So here is the truth about what happens, to our vaginal tissue with the decrease of estrogen, is that vaginal tissue begins to thin. And the lack of blood flow creates a lot of problems. And these problems have been dismissed out of hand for decades. I have women call me that are crying. Oh, the doctor says that I'm 50, so there's no reason that I should have to have sex. So why am I complaining? It's really heartbreaking, some of the stories that I hear.
That's
And
sad.
it's sad. It's really sad. And I've worked with women into their 90s who have healed their vaginal tissue to the point where they are sexually active again. And it's sexually active. Yes, that's a big thing. But it's also, Gary, strong tissue. And I'm not saying that the Puremedy does it, but having strong vaginal tissue prevents tearing, right? And if you have skin that easily tears, that is an invitation for bacteria to come in and to create UTIs and other types of infections. So having strong skin is your best defense. And this feminine moisturizer was a part of our clinical trial. So we can say that our feminine moisturizer helps to increase circulation. And that in turn increases stem cell production of new skin and tissue through the bottom, through all 7 layers of tissue. So not only is it increasing circulation and creating strong skin, but we also have the same time kill study showing that it has the same antibacterial, antifungal, and candida properties as the original healing ointment. So we have this woman here. Oh, you guys should meet sometime, Gary. I got a great compounding pharmacy right here in LA that's been using this these products as long as you have. And this woman there, her name is Rose, and she took up this about 10 years ago, and she's been treating women for feminine dryness for over a decade. And she says here, look, she says that she has seen a 90% success rate in treating vaginal dryness. And I think that it's time that we really start talking about this openly. I don't know if you guys ever saw Game of Thrones. Gary, did you ever see it?
Yep.
Okay, so here's my funny little thing about Game of Thrones. You know, the queen, she said, oh, you men, you know, this elder queen, you men go out on the battlefields and you know, see unsightly, you know, death and murder and destruction. And she said, but even you guys can't handle what happens to a woman as we age.
Well, it's true. I really think if it was up to men, or most men, to have babies and everything else, there wouldn't be a population explosion. We probably wouldn't even be on the earth anymore.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, I do want to say that Premarin, I am going to start talking about Premarin. It's a drug, and it stands for pregnant mare urine. And the way that they collect the pregnant mare urine is possibly the most brutal animal torture I've ever seen in my life. And Premarin is pregnant mare urine. When you take Premarin, you are drinking the urine of pregnant horses. And Premarin is supposed to be the leading cause of cancer in women over 50. And it only is about vaginal dryness. So I'm just saying, let's give something else a try. Let's just give it a try, you know? So I love this product, and I love talking about it. So if please invite your customer to reach out and call me if I didn't answer a specific question.
Will do. So that can be used. I understand what you were saying, but it can also not just for having more comfortable sexual relations, but it can be used for women who just have vaginal dryness also. It'll help re-moisturize and heal the skin, which then the big thing is the UTIs that you brought up. A question, I guess.
We use this every night before we go to bed, internally and topically, every night. It's just part of our routine.
Another question, curious to know if it's possible to use these products when trying to plan for pregnancy or when pregnant.
Yes, absolutely. There's no reason not to. They're all, my mom, for example, used the original throughout her entire pregnancy. She used it on her belly to prevent stretch marks. We work with many doulas. So about 2 weeks before the woman is going to give birth, they start using the original or the feminine vaginally to sort of start stretching out the tissue, preparing it. And then when, during the birthing process, it's really good to manage bacteria naturally during the birthing process. And then after the birthing process, to start healing up that tissue right away, the torn tissue. So, and then you can use it, as a nipple cream. Babies can ingest it. You can put it in babies' mouths for thrush. This is why I'm so crazy about the purity of ingredients. Everything has to be certified organic from the best places, not just fields of certified organic product. You know what I mean? Like I really take it seriously, because that's how the products are designed to work, is through every step of life, from preconception to, you know, to hospice, really.
Well, that is great.
Yeah.
And we're a little bit over, and I don't want to keep people. I know a lot of people here on the East Coast are probably just getting home from work and
Yeah.
want to
Thank
be
you
with the
so much, you
family.
guys, for spending your time with me. I so appreciate it. What an honor. I just love it.
And Joni, I always get some great nuggets every time we talk. We'll have to catch up more. I hope your foot heals real fast.
Thank
And
you.
thank
Yeah.
you for all this great information, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.